What is up, guys? So today I wanted to talk about a little bit on the techniques that I use specifically to get better at not stalling my bike over and over again and to be able to take off very quickly. So this is something that I struggled with a whole lot when I started riding motorcycles. I remember the first week or 2 or 3 actually, I was stalling everywhere. When I took my motorcycle safety course, I must have stalled probably like 25-30 times within that class alone. And then it's one thing to be able to, to stall while you're taking that class, while you're learning. It's a completely different thing when I actually got my bike and I'm out here stalling in the middle of the street. That is a huge safety hazard that could potentially be incredibly dangerous. Let me paint the scenario. So every time that you go ahead and come to a complete stop, whether it be at a stoplight or at a stop sign or a red light or during traffic or whatever, there's likely gonna be people behind you, right? So if every time that you stop, you go ahead and once it's time to take off, you go ahead and stall, that's going to put you at a much higher likelihood of getting rear-ended, especially if you're like at a red light or something. Most of the time, people are really not paying attention. They're just looking at the light. If they see you move slightly forward before you stall, they're likely going to think, okay, we're moving, everything's going smooth. They don't know that you're going to stall, right? So they might just keep going, and then you might stall immediately after. They might hit you, and then boom, you're in an accident. It's something that is incredibly dangerous if you do it in the middle of the street, in stop signs, red lights, or like in a packed freeway or whatever. It's definitely a huge safety concern. So this is one of the major things that I wanted to practice at the beginning because it kept happening to me over and over and over again. So let's get into the tips that actually helped me out with this. So number 1, I had to learn that I don't have to use the entire clutch range of motion, right? So if you guys see the clutch right here, I can pull it all the way in and I can let it all the way out. So when I started, nobody really told me that I really just need to use wherever the friction zone is. So everybody always tells you, oh, you got to find the friction zone to start moving, right? Just find the friction zone to start moving. And I got that concept from the beginning. What I didn't understand is that you can just maintain that friction zone the entire time, which is going to be about half an inch of length to cut the power and to give the engine power. Like, it's that much. But one of the things that was happening is because I wasn't aware that I could just maintain that half inch of range of motion, I kept pulling my clutch all the way in every single time, and then I would have to find the friction zone again, and then every time that I was going to let it go, I would just let it go all the way, and that was throwing me off because I was using the entire thing every single time, which means that it was harder to find the friction zone every single time. Now, let me show you what I mean. So if I go ahead and I turn off the bike, so all of this right here, as you can see, it's literally dead zone. The bike's not doing anything. It's not giving the bike any power. It's not taking off any power. It's just dead. This is dead zone right here. So what does this mean? This entire bottom end range of motion, I never need to go there. I never need to go there. So what do I need to find? I need to find the exact point where the engine is given power and the exact point where the engine cuts off the power, right? So if I start slowly releasing it, okay, the engine is being given power right there. It's starting to move, and if I go half an inch down like I did right there, it stops, right? So all I need to do, look at that, it's even less than half an inch on the range of motion, and that's all that you really need to do every time that you need to switch gears, every time that you are gonna take off. You just need to be hanging around here. And that half an inch that you give it power or that you take off power, it's even less than half an inch, just a quarter of an inch. That's all that you need to do. You don't need to be all the way in or all the way out, which is what causes a lot of you to be able to stall because you're letting it go all the way, and then you got to find the friction zone again. So find the friction zone and just give it power and take away power. Give it power and take away power, and like I said, that's gonna be like half an inch to 1/4 of an inch of range of motion, and that's really where you need to hang the entire time. Now it's gonna be different bike to bike. The clutch on each bike is gonna be really different depending on what bike you have, but just understand that there's gonna be a lot of dead zone to all of the clutches, right? So like The bottom half of it is going to be dead zone, like you see right here. Like, I'm releasing it super fast, but the bike doesn't stall. Why? Because there's a dead zone. There's nothing going on. And now at the very top of it is also a dead zone, but the friction zone is in the middle. So obviously if I let it go from here, it's going to stall. So find that little bit of friction zone and then just maintain that ½ inch of range of motion, and then that's all you need. When you go ahead and need to switch your gears or come to a complete stop, just ½ inch down. And when you go ahead and need to start taking off, ½ inch up, and that's literally all you need. Like, that's all that you need. That's a major concept that really was holding me back, because I was always trying to use the whole thing. I was trying to go all the way down, and then I would have to find it up back up again, and then I would let it all the way go, and then I would stall, and I'm like, oh my god, like, I have to use this entire range. No, you don't. It's literally just from here to here, here to here, here to here, and that's it. So come to a parking lot or something like that and be able to practice that. Find that zone where it's just like, it gives it power, it cuts power, it gives it power, it cuts power, and practice staying within that zone. And if you're able to stay within that zone, you're going to be able to more effectively be able to take off. Number 2, every time that you come to a complete stop, make sure that you're in first gear. Now, it goes without saying that you need to do this, but let me tell you, when I was a complete beginner and I had a lot of things that I was looking out for when I was, you know, learning how to ride, I would often forget to come to a complete stop in first gear. Every time that you come to a complete stop, whether it be at a stop sign, at a red light, or if you're making an emergency stop, you have to be in first gear. What's going to happen if you are not in first gear? If you stop in second or third, every time that you're going to take off, you're going to be at a much bigger likelihood of stalling, because the engine requires more power to be able to move. I'll show you right here. So if I go on like third gear, and then I go ahead and I stop at the stop sign, okay, I'm ready to go, I'm gonna give it some power, and boom, stalled. That's what's gonna happen. You need to be in first gear every single time. So make sure that every time that you come to a complete stop, you look down, boom, first gear. You need to be in first gear. It goes without saying, and it might be something that's super obvious for most people, but guess what? It's actually a huge major mistake when you're a complete beginner. You will make the mistake of constantly stopping at second gear, third gear, or whatever. That's a huge mistake. Make sure that you're in first gear. All right, so tip number 1 was finding that about 1/4 inch where it gives power and it cuts power to the clutch. Second tip was making sure that you're in first gear every time that you actually completely stop. Third tip now is actually taking off fast. So from here, what you want to go ahead and do is, what I like to do, I like to maintain that little bit of 1/4 inch, right? So I move that 1/4 inch up, and then as soon as I move that 1/4 inch up, I'm gonna give it a lot of throttle right there. And by a lot of throttle, I mean to like about 3,000, 4,000 RPMs. Okay, that's gonna make you start moving quickly forward. Now, I'm not saying you gotta do this super quick, but remember, if you're out in the street, you gotta be able to take off and be at about 15, 20 miles an hour relatively quickly, right? So as soon as I move that ½ inch up, I go ahead and I give it throttle, and then I keep moving forward to slowly release it, and then to the point where I get to 15 to 20 miles an hour, and then I start switching gears, right? Now, something that really helped me out is that I often was struggling to find the specific spot from where to take off from, right? So something that helped me out specifically was I would find the point in which the bike is moving at a stop sign, when the bike would begin moving, and then to prevent it from moving, I will step on the rear brake. So let me show you. So the bike begins moving right here, I'll step on the rear brake, and now that I step on the rear brake, if I let it go, I'm gonna start moving, right? So I would give it a little bit of throttle. I would notice, okay, it's gonna be my turn about 5 seconds. So I would maintain the exact position that I need for taking off, which is right now, if I take, the only thing I need to do right now is just let my foot go from the rear brake. If I let it go, it's immediately gonna take off, and it's gonna take off fast. Okay, that way you don't really have to focus too much on having to find the friction zone and having to give it the exact amount of throttle. You can just find it already, then step on the rear brake, wait on your turn, and as soon as it's your turn, just start slowly stepping off the rear brake. I'll do it again. So the bike starts moving. As soon as the bike starts moving, rear brake. Rear brake, give it a little bit of throttle. You wait on your turn. Let's say that it's going to be my turn right now. Okay, step off the rear brake, and then I can take off pretty quick from there. Okay, you can do this a lot more aggressively as well. I wouldn't recommend it if you're just starting off, but I'll give you guys a little bit of an example. Once you start getting a lot more used to it, you can go ahead and kind of let it go right there. Give it a lot more throttle, and as soon as you see, it's gonna launch really quickly. Okay, and this is a low cc bike, and it's gonna be at like 20 miles an hour. You're probably gonna redline it super quick, so you gotta be careful doing that. But it's a much more controlled way to do it if you always just keep that 1/2 inch of range of motion. You keep the gas and you give it a little bit of gas, give it a little bit of RPM to like 2,000, 3,000, and then just maintain that spot and just step on the rear brake. That way, as soon as it's your turn to go, whether it be at the red light or at the stop sign, boom, you can just take off from there, and you're not having to struggle. It's like, okay, now I gotta find the friction zone, I gotta give it slow gas and this and that. That comes after a lot of practice. So that's a little bit of a way that you can do it artificially, by stepping on the rear gas and just taking off from there, from that position. But another thing that you can do is a very easy exercise. If you come to a big open space like this, what I like to do is I like to go on a straight line, and I don't even need to put my feet down or anything, and I just practice starting and stopping. So big open space right in front of me, so I have my feet down the entire time. So I practice slowly releasing the clutch and giving it some throttle, and then I stop, and then I'll just do it again. So start and stop, start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. This is a super easy way for you to be able to practice starting and stopping and going from that position. That way you can stop stalling in the middle of the street as much as you can. So yeah guys, that's all that I wanted to say. If you have any more extra advice or whatever helped you out specifically to be able to stop stalling, let me know. At the end of the day, I'm a beginner, so I'm not saying that any of this is the correct way to do it or the wrong way to do it. This is just what helped me specifically stop stalling in the middle of the road. And now these days I don't even use the rear brake. I just come to a complete stop, and when it's time for me to go, I'm still messing around in that 1/2 inch of range of motion on the throttle. Give it some gas slowly, and then we take off. Easy as that. So yeah guys, if you have any extra advice or anything like that, comment down below. If this was helpful, let me know. Other than that, I'll see you on the next one. Peace. All right, let's get some real life action shots in the street. Oh, fuck. Bro, there's a fucking bug inside my fucking helmet. Alright y'all, fuck, Jesus fucking Christ, there was a goddamn bug inside my fucking helmet, dog. Anyways, I'm coming to a complete stop right here. Look both ways, make sure there's nobody behind me, and same thing, slowly off the throttle, giving it some gas, and now we're good to go. Jesus fuck. Guys, let me tell you, it's not a fun time when there's a bug inside of your fucking helmet. Shit fucking sucks ass. Fuck this video, I'm done.